Ma me fana say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Ashafanya TV for me will be biara eba PENDREAM TV. Erieni HMU ewa parliament na abra na parliamentary proceeding ekoso na afai market. Already issue bia na oje said NDC and say majority for no inyai arrest. Na omoni omoboshe so na ever since say omoba power. Reset of the country na omokai no enye ni and some be kawu na afai market ede tudwa. Na pesa be kam ho na tin nsem no enchirem. So subscribe ya message wa so be my subscribe button no. Now click the bell notification icon also. You are doing our comment section. Like in a shade you made my afro and say and come. Come on and sema afai market ede tudwa.
Mr. Speaker, we in the minority are not against accountability. We believe in accountability, but we are against abuse of human rights. Today, all the human rights lawyers in the NDC have kept quiet. They've gone to sleep. Where are their human rights lawyers? Their human rights lawyers who are in court enforcing the rights of citizens. Where are they? Today, Ghanaian citizens are detained by investigative agencies beyond 48 hours. Ghanaian citizens have their right being abused without taking them to court. The NDC that bill does not believe in the rule of law, and it is clear in their posture. So-called legal search, which ends up in intimidation. Today, if you even criticize them, they threaten you. If you criticize them, they threaten you. They threaten you. And they say, if you dare me, I would release the tape. Release the tape. We tired of the hate, the hypocrisy, and the double standards. We tired. Today, we have two Ghanas. One Ghana for the NDC, which is a Ghana of enjoyment, and another Ghana for the MPP and political opponent, which is a Ghana of pain and anguish. Is this a resetting you promised? Is this a resetting you promised? Today in our public service, whereas they are sacking Ghanaians, they are bringing their party full soldiers with questionable qualifications. Their party communication officers are filling all the PRO offices in our public service without interview. Have they so soon forgotten their own case in the Republic, in Donko versus the Republic? Have they forgotten the ruling in the case of Donko versus the Republic? Oh, NDC. Yatuaba Enuyenhu. Oh, NDC, Ghana for Enuamuhu. But, Mr. Speaker, the people of Ghana take solace in Ngugi Watiengo's "Weep Not Child." Weep not, child, weep not, my darling. With these kisses, let me remove your tears. The ravening clouds shall not long be victorious. They shall not long possess the sky. You, the NDC, we are reminding you, you have only 4 years. The 4 years will soon come. If you spend the 4 years in persecution, your time will come. Your ravening clouds shall not long be victorious. They shall not long possess the sky. The power you have today is like an ice block. It started melting from December 8th, January 8th, and it will melt until the next elections. Utilize the power wisely. We want employment. The Ghanaian youths are unemployed. Many of the youths you are sending home. What should they go and eat? How should they feed their families? People are suffering. And you are refusing to provide opportunity for all. This is a country of equal opportunity. This is a country with a promise of fairness to all Ghanaians. If all men find a man's hand in a till, his guilt must be proven. If all men find a man's hand in a till, his guilt must be proven. Go to court. and do the case. We're tired of the attacks in the media. The media trial must cease. This is a country of rule of law. This is not the country we are proud of. Go to court. To the NDC, go to court. Use the judiciary. Use the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, let me come to their so-called 24-hour economy. When the president came to this house, he promised us in his sona that the 24-hour economy will find expression in his budget statement. He told us. When Dr. Atufosin came here, he now tells us the 24-hour economy will come later. The policy will come later. So you lied to Ghanaians. How come in 2025, your maiden budget, the 24-hour economy policy is not featured in that budget? So 2025, we should forget about 24-hour economy. What you are doing in 2025, persecution, persecution, persecution. 2025, persecution, persecution, persecution. 2025, persecution, persecution, persecution. We want jobs. You said that you're going to create 24-hour economy. When Akufo-Addo promised free SHS, he did not defer the free SHS policy. Today, even in the education sector, I cry for the Haruna Idrisu Millet Ministry. What is there in the budget? Let's open the budget. He has been denied every opportunity to lead a policy in the education sector. Is a GET fund under the Ministry of Education? Now, free SHS is being managed by GET fund. And under GET fund is either to report to the finance minister or is going to report to the presidency. We don't know. Oh, Haruna. Oh, Haruna. Oh, Haruna. Mr. Speaker, they cannot. Mr. Speaker, they cannot start with lamentation.
Honorable Minority Leader.
They cannot, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is leaders debating. If you encourage this, Mr. Speaker, if you encourage this, you destroy the debate.
You invited Honorable
invited him. Mr. Speaker, I have not. Don't.
Because I saw you mentioning his name. Very well. Very well.
Mr. Speaker, they started with lamentation. They continue to lament. And even now, their ministers are lamenting. Oh, Haruna Idrisu. What are they giving you? You have been given a portfolio without resources. The free SHS policy. Read the budget. Read the budget. Read the budget, Mr. Idrisu. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? They've taken all your power from you. Mr. Speaker, this is our Zam budget. This is our Zam budget. And now let's even go to their so-called big push. The so-called big push. You promised $10 billion for this so-called big push on infrastructure. In your 2025 budget allocation, you are only allocating 13 billion Ghana cedis. Its equivalent is $800 million. Indeed, you promised $10 billion. Now, 4 years you have. Let's even say you want to divide this over 4 years. Do your mathematics. Even your maths is a suspect. Even your maths is a suspect. Now, refer to paragraph 240 on page 49 of the budget. The minister asks why anyone would promise to build Agenda 111 hospitals and fail to allocate enough resources to complete them. Is this a question to ask? You've come to inherit a project The health infrastructure of our country is critical. Instead of allocating resources to complete this project, you are here lamenting. You are here lamenting. Lamentation. 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 Meanwhile, refer to Appendix 4A, page 139 of the budget, Office of Government Machinery. When you were in opposition, you were complaining about 326 million for Office of Government Machinery. Today, you are allocating 2.7 billion cedis. Hey! 2.7 billion. 2.7 billion for Jubilee. Your party people at Jubilee House. You are spending 2.7 billion. Meanwhile, the big push is suffering. Meanwhile, the woman in banking that you promised that you were going to establish a new bank for women, you gave them only 51 million cedis. And then you are paying party people. You've loaded party people at Jubilee and spending 2.7 billion cedis on them. Research alone is 70 million. What research? CSIR needs money. You are not giving them money. We need research to be done in our various hospitals. You are not supporting them. And then you are funding political research at Jubilee. 70 million cedis. 70 million cedis. We thank God that you have only one term. We thank God you have only one term. We thank God you have only one term. And you come here to say you are cancelling the 1D, 1F. What is your dream for the private sector? What is your dream for the private sector? Economy can only grow when there is a thriving private sector. When you give space to entrepreneurs, when you give opportunity for Ghanaians to do their business and to grow the economy. This 1D, 1F initiative was aimed at helping the private sector so that they can do their businesses at a cheaper cost and employ more Ghanaians. You come, you say you are cancelling. In each place, what are you doing? In this your 2024 budget, what is there in the budget of the private sector? You can read and read and read. You can edit and edit and edit your notes. You will find nothing for the private sector. All you know is sack them, sack them, sack them. All you know is persecution, persecution, persecution. All you know is arrest them, arrest them, arrest them. But I want to assure you that although we in the MPP and the minority we will walk through this valley of the shadow of death, we will not fear any evil. God will be with us. You can decide to arrest all of us. You can threaten all of us of arrest, but we'll come back stronger and defeat you in 2028. This government has reneged on its duty to the people of Ghana. A bona fide of a government is to create jobs, is to ensure good governance. And this NDC government has failed in that responsibility. You have failed. Today in this country, the only road being constructed is the Chain Home Road. Yes. The Chain Homes Road is the only road. There's the only road. Where is the commencement? Where is the commencement? The only road that you are constructing is the Chain Homes Road. That is where you are busy constructing the roads. You've left the roads in Adaku. You've left the roads in Norton. You've left the roads in Akati South. roads in Winneba. The only road under construction. The only road under construction is the chain home road.
Honorable Minority Leader, Akachi South Road has been abandoned in 2017.
Mr. Speaker, I'm talking about new contract. New contract. There's no new contract in Akachi South. Mr. Speaker, Boku Central roads. Mr. Speaker, today, the only road, the only new runabout we are seeing is the chain homes one. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Where is the commencement? If you claim there is variation, what is the source of the variation? What a shame. What a shame. What a shame. You come here, all you know is to attack the Akufo-Addo government. You've forgotten that Akufo-Addo bequeathed you with a free SHS that was introduced and sustained. Today you are struggling. Mr. Speaker, you are struggling. The energy sector, Mr. Speaker, in 2017, when we inherited the reins of government, we had serious challenges in the energy sector. Large collection inefficiencies, high distribution losses, high generation costs. But what did the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government do? The Akufo-Addo government, the Bawumia government kept the lights on. Today, Dumso is back. Go to Ashanti region. Go to Ashanti region. Dumso by day, Dumso by night. Where is the energy minister? Where is the energy minister? Dumso is back. We need our lights on. We need our lights on. Stop the lamentation. Stop the lamentation. Stop the lamentation. You are in government. Your duty is to deliver on your promises. Your duty is to live up to expectation. All you know is persecution, persecution, persecution. All you know is arrest, arrest, arrest. You think by arresting people, you pollute the minds of Ghanaians and win power again. Owini power war. Owini don 2028 waba win. Mr. Speaker, they should know that the way to manage this economy is to live by the promises in their own manifesto. You came into office with promises. Don't throw your manifesto away. Don't throw your manifesto away. Let your manifesto work. The road sector, you promise to deliver. Deliver. And don't limit your effort only at the Chain Homes Road. Enough. You've done so much there. Enough. This is Azar budget. Azar budget. Now, Mr. Speaker, let's go to agriculture. I weep for Erikopoku. I weep for Erikopoku. I weep for Erikopoku. They promised the minister on page 73, paragraph 390. This is what the minister states, and I quote, Mr. Speaker, we have allocated an amount of 1.5 billion for agriculture for economic transformation agenda, of which Feed Ghana program, Ghana Grains Development Project, Vegetable Development Project, and Nkuko Nkete are all key components. Yet, on page 138 of the budget statement, under Appendix 4A, item number 13, the actual allocation for the initiatives under agriculture for economic transformation agenda is just about 924 million cedis and not 1.5 billion cedis. Wow. Oh, Erikopoku. So now the man has been rendered redundant at the ministry. At the Ministry of Agriculture, there's nothing going on. You made promises to the Ghanaian youth. You made promises to the Ghanaian youth that you are going to support them. Now you have given more money to Jubilee House for your party people than even to agriculture. Serious. You are spending money on your party apparatus at Jubilee House, 2.7 billion, whereas agriculture, our farmers who were expectant, you promised 1.5 billion and delivered 924. Even of that, a chunk of it is going into compensation. Wow. Where is your capex? Wow. NDC. 100 million capex. NDC. Menyo. NDC. Sure, Menyo. Why? You are not doing anything for the farmers in Volta region. Go to the Volta region. Go to the Oti region.
Honorable, what you said in Ever, you have to translate it.
Mr. Speaker, it means it is difficult. It's painful. It's painful. What they are doing is painful. It's not good. It's not good. Manuel, Mr. Speaker, it's not good. What they are doing is not good. It's not good at all. They are not being fair to the people of Volta. They are not being fair to the people of Oti. Look at the arable lands in Volta region and Oti. Look at the lands in Savannah. Mr. Speaker, the poor farmers in Volta, the poor farmers in Akachi, the poor farmers in Chiame. Mr. Speaker, the poor farmers in Esrojaman, they are not receiving any support. The poor farmers in Norton, as a center. Whole Central, whole East, whole West. Mr. Speaker, there are farmers in whole. Mr. Speaker, the entire whole municipality, they are not getting any support. And then you render Erikopoku redundant at the ministry. With 900 million. Erikopoku has been rendered redundant at the Ministry of Agric. What a shame. Mr. Speaker, what a shame. And instead of commending Joseph Boahinedu's Cocoa Board for achieving the 1 million mark in terms of tonnage, they came here to attack Cocoa Board. They forgot about the success story, and they forgot about the initiatives of the predecessors in that area. All they know is to attack and to lament. Mr. Speaker, thank God that this administration has only a term. Thank God. Thank God. Mr. Speaker, thank God that John Dramani Mohammed's government has only 4 years. Thank God that there's a new light ahead of us. A new light that will bring back hope. The true hope that the people expect. The true hope under NPP. Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to exhaust the entire 40 minutes. Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to exhaust the entire 40 minutes. Because, Mr.
Honorable Minority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, the minority must know that after me, the majority leader will come. Yes. And we are observing their conduct. Yes. The majority led by my good friend Governor Agboja. must know that when I am done, their boss will come. So my backbenchers are observing.
Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, it is very clear to us that our friends in government today were only interested in propaganda politics. They came into government with no clear plans for the people of Ghana. They came into government with no clear plans to create jobs. They came into office with no clear plans for the fisher folks of our country. They came into office with no clear plans for the farmers of our country. They only came to persecute, to arrest political opponents, and deny them their basic fundamental human rights. It is clear that this government came into being to kill private sector initiative. Is the reason why they are unable to tell us a single initiative for the private sector. I ask a question. What is the work of the trade minister? What is the work of the trade minister? They say they have an advisor for 24-hour economy. What is his work? And they've loaded so many people at the office of the vice president. Advisor here, chief of staff here. How many chief of staff do you have at the presidency? Mr. Speaker, the vice president has a chief of staff. The president also has a chief of staff. It's a matter of public record. Now, Mr. Speaker, they claim they were going to form a lean government. Let me expose them. They have appointed more political appointees than ministers. Go to Jubilee. Spokesperson for this, deputy spokesperson, communication director, communication this, research that, research this. Oh, and then you claim that a lean government. Which lean government? Which lean government? So many presidential advisors, all coming at a cost to the country. Meanwhile, you promise Ghanaians a lean government. And Mr. Speaker, to worsen it, this government has demonstrated to be indecisive. The president, in swearing in the deputy ministers 2 weeks ago, promised that he was going to bring a list of 4 deputy ministers to complete the list of nominees. Mr. Speaker, it's been a third week. Indecisiveness. They cannot. All the remaining MPs in this chamber are fighting for the 4 nominations. What is happening? All the great talents, the women in this chamber are not being mentioned. What is happening? What happened to the affirmative action law? What happened to the 30%? What happened to Hajia Ladi? What happened to Zanato Ajiman-Rollins? What happened to Eleni Tosu? What happened to her? Oh, what happened to the women of substance on the majority side? What happened to them? A government of discrimination. A government of discrimination. A government of discrimination. What is happening? Today, the majority bench is so demotivated. So much stress. Their members do not know whether they are to move from the left to the right or to move from the right to the center. You have to get a godfather before you get an appointment. Why? Godfather, after you've all fought for power, now you need Godfather, you have to be begging for board appointment. Why? If you don't have a Godfather, they will consider you. Why? Why? The founder's daughter, not even deputy minister. Why? 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 Go to Western region. All the talent in Western region, no appointment. Why? 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 Go to Volta region. Vote to Volta region. Only 3 appointees in government. Only 3. Why? Why? What have the people of Volta done to you? Why? Why? Mr. Speaker, I end my case.
Honorable members, order is now the turn of Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, let me join colleagues to thank the Minister for Finance, Dr. Kessel Ato Barforson, for presenting the 2025 budget statement and economic policy to this House. Mr. Speaker, the statement and policy has been vigorously debated in the public space and commented on in this House. We've all gotten richer by listening to the debate and the commentary. This House benefited from a 3-day workshop where we had experts and resource persons help us deepen our understanding of the budget figures and the policy proposals. So, Speaker, today it is the turn of leadership to wind up the commentary, if not the debate. And I just listened to my colleague, the Honorable Minority Leader, who had just spoken. After listening to him, Mr. Speaker, I miss the days of people like J.H. Mensah, who, when they debated the budget, you walked away highly educated in economic figures, statistics, and policies. I was wondering whether we were listening to a debate of the budget or a debate about governance in this country. Mr. Speaker, in order that listeners are not confused, I want to restate that the debate is of the budget policy that was presented to this House and not governance generally. Mr. Speaker, the budget clearly establishes President John Dramani Mahama as a talk and do president of Ghana. Talk and do president of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish e-levy. E-levy, Yamutu. E-levy abolished. Talk and do president. President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish the betting tax. Betting tax, Yamutu. Talk and do, President. President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish emission levies. Mr. Speaker, the budget policy promises to do that. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish the VAT on motor vehicle insurance policy. Mr. Speaker, that is also going. Talk and do, President. President John Dramani Mahama promised not to tax small-scale miners. Mr. Speaker, that is also going. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama promised to stabilize the city by establishing the Ghana Gold Board. That is also happening. Talk and do, President. President John Dramani Mahama promised to reduce the size of government and cut down on government expenditure. Mr. Speaker, ministries are being reduced from 30 to 23 and ministers reduced from 88 to 60. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, we promise to cut down on waste and inefficiency, and we are removing Ghana Cares, You Start, One District, One Factory. They are all going. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, the President promised to take away duplication and cost. And so he is realigning institutions and doing away with the development authorities and assigning their responsibilities to the various district assemblies where they actually belong to. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, our national health insurance system was collapsing because of capping. President John Dramani Mahama promised to remove capping so that the full allocation will go to the levy so that our health insurance system will function again and healthcare delivery will work for Ghanaians again. That is happening in this budget. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, he promised to give the full allocation for roads to the roads fund and take away the capping there as well so that our roads will get better. And that is happening in this budget. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, due to capping of GET Fund could not complete all the e-blocks across the country. Schools were struggling for renovation. Education was struggling for funding. This budget will remove the capping and GET Fund will get its full allocation and our schools will work again. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, our energy sector, which is in a major crisis due to lack of investments, is being addressed. John Dramani Mahama promised to fix the energy sector, which is in crisis, and this budget seeks to reduce the GMPC share of net carried and participating interest from 30% to 15% and fully restore transfers to GMPC under the Earmark Funds Act, and this will enable GMPC to invest in the energy sector. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama promised the big push. The big push for infrastructure. Big push for infrastructure. And it is obvious that that commitment is being fulfilled. I have heard arguments suggesting that only 13 billion Ghana cedis is allocated for big push. Mr. Speaker, listen carefully. Listen carefully. When we uncap road funds and the money goes to the road funds, what will road funds use the money for? To pay for roads. Is that not infrastructure? Is that not what the big push is about? When we uncap get fund and the resources go to get fund and they complete our e-blocks, is that not infrastructure? Is that not big push? When we uncap NHIL levy and the money goes, some of the money will find their way to health infrastructure. Is that not big push? Doesn't it give a big push? When we uncap GMPC funds and they invest in the energy sector, is that not going to give infrastructure a big push? When we amend the mineral investment fund and the allocations now go for infrastructure, is that not a big push? Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that the creativity, the ingenuity, the intellect, and simple the answer that has gone into crafting this budget.
Honorable Ayarga, what is the meaning of the answer?
Answer means common sense. Common sense. Mr. Speaker, wisdom, the creativity, ingenuity, intellect, and wisdom that went into the crafting of this budget, is unparalleled in the history of budgets in this House. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that my Inkitikiti minority need a crash course in budget analysis to understand this budget.
Honorable Ayarga, what is Inkitikiti?
My small minority, Inkitikiti, micro minority, they need a crash course in Atuforcing Budget Analysis 101 so that they can understand how this budget is crafted. You don't just look at 13 billion to big push and say, oh, you are not committed to your infrastructure agenda. Big push is to push infrastructure. And there are several allocations that will deal with the problem of infrastructure. All that put together will make sure that infrastructure objective is achieved. Mr. Speaker, I hear them say that we haven't allocated enough resources for agriculture, for economic transformation. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that our agriculture for economic transformation is founded on a big investment in agricultural infrastructure. More irrigation, more roads to farming communities. We have made provision for the Akosombo Dam spillage. We have made provision for free SHS, free textbooks, school feeding program, capitation grants, road fund, District Assembly Common Fund, getting 80% of their allocation. Every single priority of this government has been provided for in this budget. That's how you know that we are committed to the promises that we made to the people of this country. Mr. Speaker, let me say for emphasis that since President Nkrumah, no president has taken bold steps to strengthen social protection in one single budget like John Dramani Mahama has done this year. No single president in one budget, from healthcare to education to local governance, every sector, wherever social welfare is implicated, significant allocation has been made. Mr. Speaker, we have a number of social interventions that we can boast of in the budget statement. The no academic fee policy implemented, free tertiary education for persons with disability provided for, free primary health care, Mahama Cares provided for, free sanitary pad for school girls provided for. Mr. Speaker, John Dramani Mahama is indeed a talk and do president. He talk, he do. 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 This is the president who talks and does. Mr. Speaker, the budget tells us where we are coming from. Where are we coming from? Let's not run away from where we are coming from. Mr. Speaker, this country has seen a lot of mismanagement, and the budget has captured that. Our city suffered significant decline over the 8 years periods. From an exchange rate of 3.9 Ghana cedis in 2017 to 15 Ghana cedis in 2024. The worst depreciation ever in the history of our country. This is where we are coming from. This country, government was buying treasury bills at 28 to 30% interest. This is where we are coming from. How was the private sector going to be able to get loans in order to invest and create jobs to employ our teeming youth? This is where we are coming from. Our public debt, Mr. Speaker, had ballooned from 122 billion to 726.7 billion Ghana cedis. Per capita GDP growth had worsened from 6% in 2016 to about 2% in 2023. Mr. Speaker, the banking sector has collapsed. The banking sector collapsed. Yes, collapsed. Collapsed. As we speak. As we speak. Mr. Speaker, in 2016, the average capital adequacy ratio of our banks stood at 19.46%. Average capital adequacy ratio of our banks in 2016 stood at 19.46%. Today, 2024, I'm not even talking about today, 2024, the average capital adequacy ratio of the banks worsened to 4%.
Subscribe to channel like and share the media for and Kabi.
Amena PENDREAM TV ase. Now so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.